Welcome to Unstoppable Stories That Move. I'm your host, Sally Hed Dahlquist. I've traveled all over the world to run marathons and am fascinated by the ordinary people who do extraordinary things. They just won't quit. No matter what life throws at them, they keep going. Mile after mile, challenge after challenge. They find a way to push beyond their limits. So listen as these seemingly normal people share their stories of resilience from the race course and beyond, and inspire us to keep moving forward too. Let's get to it. Hi, everyone. This is Sally Hed Dahlquist zooming in from Afton, Minnesota. Today, we have a special episode. We're going to follow up with Tracy Cohen Roth. She was originally on the show in December 2025, episode 22, and she was about to embark on the biggest athletic challenge of her life, running 7 marathons on 7 continents in just 7 days. And this woman is absolutely unstoppable. She is an athlete and a runner. In her day job, she's a teacher of 39 years. She loves teaching the kids. She's a wife and has 2 kids, but she wasn't always a runner. She started running in the second half of her life to help cope with her mother's death from breast cancer. That was about 25 years ago. And she hasn't stopped running since. It really helped her. She has now run over 140 marathons. She's run a marathon in all 50 states. She's run several ultras. And now she literally ran around the world. And it only took her 7 days. She ran 7 marathons on 7 continents in 7 days. So let's hear how she did it. I'm so impressed. I know it's been amazing, her journey. I've been following her pictures on Facebook and texting her, and it's crazy. And I'm glad I got to take a little bit of credit for it because she's from the San Diego area and not used to running in the cold. So I sent her a pair of tights, my favorite winter tights, which, by the way, are super cheap. They're only from Costco for like $15. So let's hear from Tracy. How'd she do?
Hi,
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm fantastic.
Well, we've been very, very fortunate to have weather in the 80s and 90s for a whole week. So I'm loving life because I love this weather.
Oh, gosh. I know you're Tracy the Icicle.
I know. No, the tricycle.
Tracycle.
Yes, exactly.
In Minnesota, we had a freakishly warm day yesterday. It was like 74 degrees.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. So we had a taste of summer. I was out. I filled up all my little 4-inch pots with dirt so that I could plant my seeds in them. And then today it was cold enough where I went skiing. It was it was the last day the little ski hill is open next to my house.
That's perfect.
Yeah. So I'm glad you're able to squeeze this in today.
Well, yeah, I'm at school every Sunday working. And so I just took a little break from that so I can chat with you and tell you all the highlights of this amazing adventure that I got to be a part of.
Oh my God. I know you're amazing. So you ran 7 marathons on 7 continents in 7 days, the World Marathon Challenge. I just am so impressed, so happy for you. And I know you went through some trials and tribulations. You got sick, your feet were hurting, you were cold in Antarctica.
Well, and the crazy thing is that I haven't been sick my entire adult life. I've never thrown up, never had GI issues. I can eat anything. I have an iron stomach. I've never missed a day of school in almost 40 years of teaching for being sick. I never got COVID. I'm just never sick. But something happened in our group in South Africa, and I was fine in Antarctica, and I started kind of having to use the bathroom a lot in South Africa. And by the time I got to Australia, Dubai, and Spain, I was a mess. But also, I'm not used to running where there's no available porta potties. So when we were running in Spain, we're on a 4.5-mile racetrack, and there's no bushes to hide behind, and there's no porta potties on the track. It's a racetrack. So if I have to go, and I'm 4.5 miles in, and I got to wait 4 miles, and I got to go. And so that was just, the hardships of that. And then we were in Dubai, and we were like in this mall kind of situation where there's all these high-rise buildings and there's no bushes to hide behind. And I don't know where the bathrooms are. And I'm trying to find the signs for the bathrooms and I couldn't find them. So I don't have any choice. I got to go. So those were my bummer issues. I wasn't sick. I just had the runs and had them often and had nowhere to use the bathroom. So that's just, it is what it is.
That was a huge challenge in Tokyo too. according to their map, they had a lot of bathrooms, but you couldn't see them on the course. They were far off course somewhere, and people told me it took them 10 to 20 minutes to go to the bathroom, and then they'd miss their cutoff, and you'd kicked off the race. And there was one guy who actually made a mess in his pants, and they actually kicked him out of the race.
Really? Oh, that can't be okay. Wow.
I know, I know. So they're there. You have to wait for them, but you can't see them. So I mentally prepared myself that, okay, I'm not going to the bathroom during this race, which I've done several times in advance. Like I didn't eat as many electrolytes as I normally would. I didn't drink as much water as much as I normally would. I just kind of waited till I was on the course to start that stuff, and I was fine. I did find a park bathroom at mile 17 with no line, and I jumped into that.
And I'm really happy to hear that. But, when we're flying, that's our only chance to hydrate and get our electrolytes because once we land, we got to run again. We got to be ready to run again.
Yeah. So tell us again. So you were on the show in December and you were all getting ready for this and super excited and you were training. So give everybody a recap, the 777.
So I landed in South Africa on Wednesday night. We were all required to be there by Wednesday. And then Thursday, they had 20-minute slots for all 57 of us to go and be interviewed. And I don't know if you had a chance to see my interview that was finally shown last week. It took them a long time to put all
Okay.
57 interviews together. But what they did is they interviewed everybody before the race, and then they put together the videos after the race so they could intersperse pictures of each person running throughout their video. So there's pictures of me running in my video that they're showing, after the fact, even though I was interviewed before the fact. So that was kind of cool to see all those pictures of me running in each of the marathons because some of those pictures I hadn't even seen before. All we're doing is running, flying, sleeping, running, flying, sleeping. And so for me to go on the website and check out the World Marathon Challenge website and see all the pictures that they uploaded, I couldn't keep up with that and do Facebook posts and talk to my family and
Right.
sleep and stretch, and roll and everything between marathons. It was a lot. I brought a journal with me and didn't even open it. I mean, just didn't have a chance to. Plus, you want to meet everybody and chat with everybody and get to know your new running family. So it was just, we're all together in our own little bubble for a week, and we just really enjoyed being together. It was very, very positive. Everybody was so friendly and happy and just excited to be there. And there was no negativity and no whining or moaning, and nobody talked about politics. It was just a nice, fun week of just, everyone was just having a good time.
Yeah. So your route was everybody flew into South Africa and then you flew to Antarctica. And when that Antarctica race, that's when the time clock starts. So it was Antarctica, right, then Cape Town, then Perth, Australia, Dubai, Madrid, Fortaleza, Miami. Right. Yep. That's 7. Right. And so doing that in 7 days, the math is 7 days times 24 hours gives you 168 hours to do all this stuff.
Correct.
With 112 hours of traveling. So it gives you like 56 hours to do all your marathons. And I saw some of the posts of you, and on that last day in Miami, looks like you were kind of hurting. So.
Well, also because I was so sick, I was dehydrated. I wasn't getting calories. I was scared to eat. I went out, didn't have to keep using the bathroom, so I hardly had any food. Marathons 4, 5, and 6. There was very little food in my stomach, so my body was just really shutting down because I didn't have anything in me to help me move forward. And the weather was just crazy. So it's super cold in Antarctica and windy. And we actually had to leave early because a storm was coming in. So 8 of the people in the group didn't get to finish their marathon and had to go back to South Africa and finish their last miles before the 24-hour period was up to make sure they got it in before 24 hours. Luckily, I was already done. And then the next morning when we did South Africa, it was hot. I mean, not bad, just hot and, kind of humid. We're running along the water. And then when we got to Australia, it was 107 degrees.
Oh, no.
It was so hot. And I befriended a man who's 69 and from England, had never run in heat before, and was so worried about what am I going to do? How am I going to run in this? And so I introduced him to salt and electrolytes. And I had those salt candies that you suck on that give you the salt while you're sucking on them. And he just said those saved his life. He was so grateful to me for those. So he was able to finish. By the time we finished, I think we started at 3 or 4 in the afternoon. By the time we finished around midnight, it was down to 83. But I mean,
Wow.
83 at midnight. But it's also we're south of the equator. So it was their summer when we were there.
Yeah.
So then we fly from there to Dubai, and it's hot and humid. And then when we get to Spain, it's 40 degrees and raining.
Yeah.
And then that was kind of crazy. And then we get to Fortaleza, Brazil, and it was downpour. Like the skies opened and I've never seen so much rain in my life. And we're
Yeah.
running in puddles and it's just ankle deep in water and our feet are sloshing and blisters and our feet are swelling now because there's, they're been on our feet for so long at this point. And it's hot and humid, yet it's pouring rain. So by the time I got to Miami and I get off and they had us plan to run at 11 o'clock at night so that we could beat the heat, but it ended up being 40 degrees.
Oh,
So I took all my Antarctica clothing back out of the bag and put it back on again. And other than the baklava over my face, other than that, I wore all my Antarctica clothing while I was in the Miami. And then Miami, it was a 5K uphill and a 5K downhill, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I'm like, really? Uphill on cement, on a sidewalk? And I'm like, that hurts your back and your knees to be on sidewalk. I like to be on asphalt where it's kind of, there's a give.
yeah.
So that was really hard. But what was crazy is we started running in Fortaleza, Brazil at 3 a.m. We finished around 10, 11 a.m., flew out at 1 or 2 or 3 in the afternoon, got to Miami about 6 or 7 p.m. the same day, started running at 11 p.m. the same day.
Yeah.
But then we finished the next day to make it the 7 days.
Okay.
So by the time I finished, I had nothing left in my body, just nothing, absolutely nothing. That's why I was dragging across the finish line. I know I looked really bad.
You looked great. So, tired, of course.
Yeah, but I was also the oldest American. There was one lady who was 70 from Portugal and a man who was 74 from China. I was the next oldest. I was the third oldest person, the oldest American running.
Okay. And then how old are you? Can we ask?
Oh, yeah, of course, 62.
Okay.
So I wasn't a spring chicken out there when there's a lot of the 30 and 40-year-olds.
And I think you said you essentially walked all of Miami or most of it.
I walked all of Miami. Yeah, I had nothing left in me.
And like, how much leeway for your time did you have?
Well, they give you 8 hours. I don't know, maybe
Okay.
I don't even remember what my time was, 7:50 or something. I mean, I was cutting it close.
Yeah, because even a normal person who walks 3 miles an hour, 20 minutes per mile, you can finish a marathon in 8 hours.
Right. But then you just have to stop to go to the bathroom or stop to get a drink or stop to get something food or something.
Get snacks.
That's going to add up to the time.
Yeah. The atmosphere was really positive. All these great people.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
They were just so positive and just so everybody wants to be there. Everybody finished. All 57 people finished. There was never a
Yeah.
doubt of anybody if they were going to finish.
Okay, so how did the Antarctica people then finish? You said those 8, they had to get on the plane?
So we all got on the plane in Antarctica, flew back to South Africa. And when we all got off the plane and went back to our hotel room, those 8 people, they had to set up a course for them and then keep running until their Garmin said 26.2.
So they finished in South Africa.
Right. Even though it was an Antarctica marathon because they didn't have a choice.
Yeah. But everybody finished, huh? All the 7.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. So that's pretty cool that everyone was so, positive and cheering each other on. And because we're doing all these loops. And so everyone's high fiving. And a guy named Michael Wardian, who's done this before, did a 50K in all 7 continents. And he would finish his 50K when I'd be crossing the 13-mile mark.
Yeah. I know those speedy guys.
So that was pretty crazy, but good for him.
Yeah.
And he broke a world record. And then another guy broke a world record. And the people from the Guinness Book of World Records came to our finishing party in Miami and presented him with a world record holder award for being the first guy to wear a Nepalese official outfit in all 7 continents. He had a different one for each of the continents. And running in those outfits was pretty crazy.
Wow.
So if you go on the website, you can see the outfits. They're beautiful. And they're the Nepalese traditional style of wear, of clothing.
Did he have their traditional shoes on?
That's a good question. I think he had running shoes.
Because when we climbed up to base camp at Mount Everest, the porters, they were wearing flip-flops, thong shoes. Like, we all stressed out about buying, this kind of hiking shoe and that one, and you got to get all this. And all the natives are out there in these really crappy thongy flip-flops.
Isn't that crazy?
They're amazing.
Yeah. That's what they grew up on. That's what they do.
Yeah.
So what else can I tell you? At the end, we had a big party and they gave awards to people who, the top men, first, second, and third, top women, first, second, and third. And this one lady named Claire who grew up in the Midwest. Her father played for the Cleveland Brown football team. She was a USAT track and field world record holder when she was in high school. And she ended up moving to Hong Kong after college and having her career there. And she won best cheerleader of our group. And she was just amazing, just the biggest cheerleader. She did a cartwheel over every finish line.
Oh, wow.
It was super fun to see that. But I never saw it because she always finished before me, but I got to see it in the videos. So that was fun.
So to prepare for this, your plan was to run 20 miles every day for 7 days during your Christmas break. How did that go? How did your prep go?
That went really well. I was really proud of myself. And I just felt like it went really well because I wasn't going for any time. I was just moving forward. I have a 5 mile loop that's near my home that's around a beautiful lake. So I would do 5 miles, stop at my car, get some food, get some water, stretch, 5 more miles, 5 more miles. And I did 20 miles 7 days in a row. And I thought, okay, now I mentally feel like I can do this. I knew physically I could do it, but I wasn't sure about mentally. Just to just feel like, okay, I am ready for this. I know I can do this because I knew I wasn't going to run the whole thing. I could jog, walk. I'm not racing. Some people in that group were truly racing. They really wanted to get the top time, and it was really important to them. And I thought, I just want to finish. I don't need to prove anything to anybody.
Yeah. And you said you could bring a little bag. Someone told you to bring a bag for each day's race. How did you manage that?
So everybody did that. So you brought a bag where you had your Antarctica bag and your Africa bag and your Asia bag. And that was your clothes and whatever you needed, your gels, your whatever for that marathon. So you had your big suitcase. You put all your bags in the big suitcase. And then as soon as you got to each country, you took your bag out for the next country.
Mm-hmm.
So as soon as you finished the race, you got back on the plane with the next bag. And then you put the dirty clothes bag in your big suitcase and check that suitcase.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you had each of your continent bags was your carry-on.
Correct. But your toiletry bags could stay on the plane so that you need to brush your teeth or do anything. Actually, your toiletry bag came with you to each marathon so you could, because after each marathon, they had a shower available.
Oh, was it the same plane the whole time? Was that a charter flight?
It was a cargo plane for Antarctica, but after Antarctica, we had a charter plane the whole time. That was our plane for the whole rest of the trip. Same pilot, same crew. We were all together on that plane the rest of the time.
Okay. So charter plane once you got back to South Africa.
Correct.
Okay. And you said your husband was going to meet you in Miami, and
he did. Yep.
And some people had.
A lot of people had family there.
Did you have somebody with you on the plane too?
No, because one man, it's $50,000. Paid $50,000 for his wife to come and for his 14-year-old daughter to come. So for $150,000, they sat next to him on the plane and they watched him run.
Now, those sound like good cheerleaders.
Right?
Oh my God. And then tell me about your hubby.
He met me in Miami and he happened to land and he said, "Where are you guys?" I said, "I have no idea, but where the buses are." So he went and found in the airport where the buses were, and he found us and he was able to, they let him get on the bus with us. So he got to come to the start line with us and he was there the whole time. I got a hotel room for us for him 2 blocks away. So if he needed to go sleep, he's like, "I don't want to leave. I want to be a part of this. Every time you come back for a loop, I don't want to not be there." So he would meet me at the end of every loop and then walk a couple miles, like a half mile with me. And then he'd go back again and wait for me to come back to the next loop. So it was wonderful to have him there. It just meant a lot to me. And while I was between loops, he would take all our suitcases back to the hotel and, get dinner and everything he needed to do. And then when I finished, he walked me back to the hotel and we slept for a few hours and then met the whole group for the big party. And then we flew home that afternoon.
Oh, so you flew home right away after the party.
Yep.
Wow.
So the party was on Saturday afternoon and we flew home Saturday night. I'm sorry, the party was Friday afternoon. We went back to our hotel, went to sleep, and then left the next morning. Got back on Saturday, and then I teach a weightlifting class on Sundays. So I taught my class the next morning, even though my feet were so swollen, I had to put my Antarctica shoes back on because those shoes were a size bigger, so I could put wool socks inside. But my feet were so swollen that I had to put those shoes back on again because I couldn't wear regular shoes for a week. My feet were so swollen.
Yeah. So how did your body handle it? Did you get any chafing or anything else?
I got chafing. I got diaper rash from all that GI stuff. I had many blisters. When we popped the blisters, one of the blisters got infected. So I had to take antibiotics. So I was a mess, which was perfect because a week after I went back to school, we had a week off for President's Week, and my son was turning 30, and we had already planned this a couple of years ago. We had both planned to fly to Norway to see the Northern Lights. And so that was our week together where all I did was sit on an airplane, sit in a dog sled ride, sit and watch the Northern Lights, just hang out, eat food, and just spend time with my son and celebrate his 30th birthday.
Well, didn't you do a marathon on that trip too?
Oh, no, I couldn't run for weeks. No. No. I didn't put shoes on for 2 weeks. The whole time I was in Norway, I wore snow boots.
Wow, nice.
We were in the Arctic Circle. It was 17 degrees.
So you went from the bottom of the world to the top of the world.
Just about. Yep. We were at the most northernest McDonald's in the whole world.
Oh, awesome. In Tromso?
Yeah, in Tromso, exactly. Yes. So that was really fun. It was nice to take that vacation because then when I got back, I had 2 weeks to do report cards, a lot more sitting, and now like, okay, now I'm ready to go run again.
Okay, yeah, because normally your routine is you run pretty much every day, don't you?
Right. I do. But it was nice to have that opportunity to take that break.
Hmm. A true vacation.
Yes, exactly.
But you had a great time with your son visiting your vacation, your vacation after your vacation.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if you can really call your 777 a vacation.
I sure had a good time.
Oh, what did you learn from the other people there that you wouldn't have learned otherwise?
Oh, that's a wonderful question. Wow. I think that just the whole positive attitude of I hang out with all positive people, but I've never met so many people in one place that were all so encouraging and motivating and inspiring, and everybody had their own story to share. And I love being in their company. It was wonderful.
Yeah.
I just feel really blessed to have had that opportunity.
That's why I love my little podcast here because I get to talk to these people who do amazing, incredible things.
And they're positive. They want to live life to the fullest. No regrets.
Hmm.
Yeah, so it was pretty amazing to have that opportunity to do that and share with all those people and meet all those people who are hopefully lifelong friends.
Yeah. No regrets. They are living their dreams.
Exactly.
Do any of them live near you, or you think you can actually see them a little
No,
more often? Or
I don't think any of them were from California. I was the only one from California. The nearest person is in Arizona,
hmm.
and yeah, there was only about 10 people from the United States. They were from all over the world.
Okay.
But we've talked about meeting again at different races, like about 6 or 7 of them did the Tokyo Marathon. So they all met up in Tokyo and had their World Marathon Challenge shirts on and took a group picture together and sent it to our WhatsApp groups. That was fun to see that photo of all of them together.
Okay.
Yeah.
The closest I've run a marathon is like week to week, like maybe a
Uh-huh.
Sunday and then the next one on a Saturday. So I've not done any back to backs. This is a little definitely intimidating for me.
Well, I've done the weekend ones because I was trying to get all 50 states. And so I would do Saturday, Sunday ones. But if you're not racing and just want to get them done, you
Yeah.
can walk them. Just get them done.
Yeah. Just the 8 hours. No problem.
Right. Exactly.
7 times 8 is 56.
There you
56
go.
hours. For 7 days.
Exactly.
So, how do you think this has changed you?
Well, it's funny to come back and people like bow to me or say I walk on water or like they worship me or they want my autograph. I'm like, you guys, I'm the same person. I didn't do anything. That's not a big deal. And they're thinking, yes, it is. You're incredible. I'm like, I'm not incredible. I had a goal. I met my goal. And they're like, what are you going to do next? How are you going to top this? I'm not going to top this. I'm just going to keep living each day to the fullest. And if something else comes along that sounds interesting, I'll sign up for that event. And they're like, well, thank goodness there's not a marathon on the moon. I'm like, well, yet, if there is, I'm signing up.
As soon as there is, I'm signing up for that one too.
Exactly. We do things like that sounds great. I think I want to do this. I want to do this. That hasn't changed who I am, but I'm super excited that I got to finish all of them because I would have hated to come back to my school and to my students and say, oh, sorry, kids, I had diarrhea. I wasn't able to finish. I mean, who wants to hear that? Nobody wants to hear that.
Yeah. So the fear of coming back of failure. Oh my God.
Right. That motivated me right there. We were leaving Dubai, we're heading to Spain. We had 2 doctors on the plane that were from NASA. They were NASA doctors. And they said, Tracy, you are really pale. You have no color. You are so dehydrated. If you don't get some color back, we're not going to let you run in Spain. I said, oh, no, 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 no. That's not even an option. There's no question here. I am running. You just need to figure out what we need to do between now and when we land in Spain to make sure that I'm running because I am running. So they introduced me to liquid IV. Do you know what that is?
Oh, yeah.
I'd never heard of it. They gave me some liquid IV and I gave me color back in my face and hydrated me. And that was exactly what I needed.
So is that the liquid IV powder or you're talking
Yes.
about?
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't heard of that. And I didn't realize they sold it at Costco.
Yeah, they sell it at Costco.
I went and bought a box when I got home. And now, if I'm going to do a really hot, like this is coming up next week, and I'm doing the Oceanside 70.3. And I thought, you know what?
Hmm.
I'm going to put some liquid IV in my bottles because I want to stay really hydrated for that. It's gonna be pretty hot out here.
So 70.3, are you doing like a half Ironman or something?
Yeah, that's next weekend. So swim, and then bike 56 miles, and then run 13 miles. So that's next Saturday.
Wow, great. You said it took you like what, 2 weeks or so for your feet and everything to kind of recover, do you feel like you're back to normal?
I do. I feel totally back to normal. It's been 6 weeks. Isn't that crazy?
And then, was there anything you were craving when you were out there? Anything that you really wanted?
Couldn't eat. No, I was just, no, not food wise.
And how was the sleeping? Were you just chatty Cathy the whole time?
No, because I normally don't sleep more than 4 or 5 hours a night. So it was perfect. You get on the plane, you sleep a little bit, you stretch, you eat, you chat, you go back, you sleep a little bit. That's all we were doing. We didn't have any responsibilities. It wasn't like I had to go to work and then run and then sleep and then do other things. All I had to do was run and sleep and eat. I mean, minimal responsibilities, low stress.
You're focused on this project.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you said since you came back, people worship you, which they do. I worship you now
Oh,
too.
please do not. I'm grateful I was able to do that. I had so many people telling me it was like every time they would wake up in the morning, the first thing they would do is, "Where's Tracy? Where's Tracy? Is she okay? Is she running? What's going on? Where's she at now? And where's Waldo?" And and then when I got back, there was like, it was so fun to look forward to that every day. We miss doing that. Can you go do something else so we can follow you again? I'm like, sure, give me $50,000. I'll do that again.
I'll do it. I'll do it again. So, did you raise money, donate it to a cause or anything, or everything went to your expenses?
I was raising money for the National Breast Cancer Foundation, but I was raising money for that as extra money. So I was putting
Yeah,
to that, but I didn't have the money to pay for this event. It cost
right.
$50,000. So I did put in my entire savings of $10,000 because that was the down payment. And then
Woohoo!
6 months raising $40,000. But here's what's crazy. I did not get any businesses to sponsor me. I was
Right.
able to raise that money, asking every person I knew, going on the news, going to the local paper, and just saying people could give a $20 donation here, $20 there, $20 there. If 2,000 people give me $20 and feel compelled to help support me do this, thank
Yep.
you, thank you, thank you. And so as I wrote on my Facebook page, everybody who donated got me to the start line. And now I have to get me to the finish line.
Yep.
So I'm so grateful that so many people were willing to help me get to the start line. So many strangers just mailed checks to my school, or all of a sudden there'd be checks in my box at school. And go, Tracy, you got this. We support you. We're excited for you. I think people were just so excited to see me be successful and to be able to do this. Like, I
Yeah.
can't do this, but I want to support someone who can do this. And I had a lot of
Yes.
people said, if anybody can do this, Tracy, you can do this. So it was just nice to have that kind of support.
I think it makes people feel included.
Yeah, exactly. So everybody who supported me got a thank you note or a text or a phone call. And people who I didn't know, I went into my GoFundMe to find out who the anonymous donors were, so I could reach
Hmm.
out to them too and thank everybody. And people who are big donors, I would take my picture with a thank you note to them at different marathons and then send it to them to show them how much I appreciated their very generous, donations and support for me. So I did whatever I could to help, just show everyone how grateful I was.
Uh, well, I got to admit that I do feel I do feel included. I feel a little
You are
special because I
included.
sent
You're
you the
totally
tights,
included. Thank you for your support.
and you had to wear those twice, huh? Did they get washed between Antarctica and
No, there was nowhere to
Miami?
wash it. Nope, I just put them back on again.
Great. Well, I'm glad they held up. That's good.
Thank you.
That's
Thank you.
good.
Thank
That's
you.
too funny.
Yes.
I know you've gotten a lot of attention. What have other people asked you too about this?
Would you do this again? And I say, I would do this again in a heartbeat if someone paid $50,000 for me to do this. The fundraising was so much work. I already have a full-time job. I'm at
Yeah.
school teaching all day. I don't leave school till 6 or 7 o'clock at night every night because I'm very invested in my job. And then I'm here every
Yeah.
weekend. I'm here every Sunday all day preparing for the week. And so to have to also do the fundraising was two full-time jobs, and I just that was a lot. So I wouldn't
Yeah.
want to fundraise again, that kind of money, but I would totally do this again. And just the experience was so amazing.
Oh, great. Well, I am so happy. I'm so glad you're finished. People have been asking me, what's happening with that Tracy lady? Yes. Yes,
Thank
she
you.
finished. And your enthusiasm for the project before you left for doing the event is just infectious. You're such a joy and so positive to talk to. I'm really glad you were
You
able to make a little bit of
believe and
time.
achieve, right?
Yes, that's your mantra. Your mantra.
Yes, it is. I just got a tattoo last week, and so that's what it says. It says believe and achieve, and it's got the whole globe. Actually, I'll send you a picture of it. and it's got little red stars where all the marathons were located.
Oh,
So that was really cool to now you have it tattooed to me for life.
wow. No one can take that away. And
Exactly.
no one can do it for you.
Right, exactly. Yes.
Tracy, what kind of advice do you have for everybody out there, whether it's on running or life or just anything? Share your words of wisdom.
My words of wisdom are no regrets. If you want something, if you want to do something, if you say, I've always wanted to do that, make it happen. You have the power to make anything you want to do happen. You just have to believe and achieve. No regrets. Enjoy your life. Live it to the fullest. Smile, be happy, and be grateful for everything.
Wow. And maybe take some liquid IV too.
Yeah. Stay hydrated.
Stay hydrated because that's what made the difference to keep you going
Exactly.
on your 777 Marathon World Challenge.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, it's been absolutely a joy talking to you again. Crazy amazing. Thanks for making time for me.
Thank you so much. It's so great to catch up with you.
Yeah, you too. Okay. Bye, Tracy.
Take care. Bye bye.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode. I hope you enjoyed listening to it and learned a few things. Well, the people that we talked about today, they don't quit, and neither should you. Whether you're running marathons, rebuilding your life, or just searching for that next spark, you are more capable than you think. If this episode hits home, share it, subscribe, leave a review. Let's build this community together of relentless people who refuse to stop moving forward. And if you want to do something even bigger, support the mission. We're raising $1 million for medical research, and your support makes a difference. Check out our website at unstoppablestoriesthatmove.com. I'm Sally Hed Dahlquist. Until next time, keep running, keep pushing, and never stop proving to yourself what's possible.